Mm. I'm back. Um, Bob Arum is hilarious, y'all. Um, 2 days ago, he said, "We don't need Gervonta Davis." He's at 130. Then yesterday, Thursday, he's talking about that he actually agrees with Floyd Mayweather, saying that Tank ain't ready for Gervonta Davis, and that unless he changes his mind, then we can sit down and talk about it and make it happen. Um, which one is it? Do you not need Tank, or are you down to make it happen? What you got To, you got Tank, you got Crawler today, Mikey. If Mikey can make the weight at 135, um, all over the place, man. No real consistency with this dude. Um, 2 days ago, you don't need him. Now you're down to make it happen because Loma said he would fight for free, which I reiterate that would never happen. I don't think any fighter should fight for free. That's ridiculous. Um, I actually wouldn't mind seeing it. I feel if you're a champion, all bets are off. You're viable to fight anybody. That should be the champion mentality. Um, Tank is at 130, but he's a big 130. He's struggled to make weight. Probably half of his title fights, if not more. Um, you know, Talked about the other day he might fight Gamboa. That's not a fight I really care too much about. He was supposed to fight Abner Mares earlier this year, but Mares, he had some issue with his eye. It's obviously important. Fighter who can't see is pretty worthless. So, um, I'd rather Tank fight, Tevin Farmer or Miguel Burchell, but those may not be as likely. So, stylistically, I actually think it'd be a tough fight for Loma, um, but it could be a tough fight for Davis too. Fighting someone that would be probably the quickest and most experienced opponent he would fight. Um, I don't think Davis has fought a lot of fast guys, at least not at this level anyway. Um, but like I said, if you're a champion, you're really viable for anybody. So I'm up for it. Will it happen in the future? Or at least this year? Doubtful. Um, uh, they're. I can't stand this in boxing where champions are being treated still as prospects. You got Jaime Munguia fighting Dennis Hogan. Another out of the blue 154 pounder. Um, Tank's fighting a past prime Gamboa. Or I get Hugo Ruiz was a last minute stand in, but at some point you got to fight a live body. Especially as a champion. Um, Once you get a belt, those babysitting you is no longer acceptable, man. These fighters got to be held to a different standard. Um, if you're a prospect like Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, it's different. You want them to fight a past title challenger, champion, because they're still trying to gain experience. But once you are a champion, really all bets are off. I'm not saying every fight has to be a 50-50 fight. That's not realistic either. But at the same time, you can't just keep digging up these fighters from God knows where. Um, that's just blah, man. I think Tank does have actual shot against Lomachenko. I actually think Tank should move up to 135 if he keeps struggling to make 130. I know Leo Santa Cruz was talking about fighting Tank when he should be focused on fighting Gary Russell, unify that division. You know, uh, Abner Mares probably should take a tune-up to see if his eye is, good to go before you get in there with the young killer. Um, but like I said, if you're a champion, you gotta be treated like a champion. You fight anybody. At least that's how it's supposed to be. At least what some of the old heads have told me about boxing. The best are supposed to fight the best. You know, everyone nowadays is obsessed with the A side, B side. I really don't care what these dudes are making. You know, none of them paying my rent. You know, none of them buying me new shoes or paying, for my gas money or anything like that. So, at the end of the day, I don't care what these dudes make. Of course, you want them to get paid and, you know, do well for themselves. But, I don't think fans should really care about who makes what. Who cares? Um, you know, I'm definitely a fan at the end of the day, and I want to see these fights. I'd rather see Tank versus Tevin Farmer or Miguel Burchell, but if Bob Arum and Loma make him a serious offer, I think they should look at it. And I think Tank stylistically does have a chance. um, I mean, if Tank beats Lomachenko, dude, you are sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. You're 24, about to be 25 or whatever. You're not even into your man strength, and you're blowing people out the water. He has a couple of decent names like Pedraza and Jesus Cuellar, but both guys were. Well, Pedraza was undefeated, but Cuellar, he was just moving up after he lost to Abner Mares. Abner Mares, he was willing to fight you after he just lost to Leo Santa Cruz. But fight a guy with momentum that's actually your size. Farmer, Burchell. Fight Loma, who seems like him and Arum are obsessed about coming down to 130, which makes me doubt that they're serious about fighting Mikey Garcia. Because if you're dead set on moving down anyway, and Mikey, who knows what he's gonna do? He's in a different headspace, and I'm not a fan of waiting on someone else's career. So you gotta take the options that are presented to you. So who knows? Rather than wait on Mikey, you could fight Richard Comey, fight Teofimo Lopez. Lopez is calling him out. I don't think Lopez should go for that fight. I think he should, take care of the title challengers and contenders first. But if him and his team feel like they're ready, go for it. you know, Historically, I don't think that it'd be on his favor. You know, I think Keith Thurman and Sean Porter messed up in not fighting Earl Spence in 2015. Earl Spence's best name back then was Samuel Vargas, if you want to call it that. Best time to beat a promising fighter is when they're a prospect, when they're green. You know, Mike McCollum, he beat a young Julian Jackson, knocking everybody out. Beat Julian Jackson in 2 rounds. Julian Jackson, he beat Terry Norris in 2 rounds. Jamel Charlo beat Erickson Lubin in 1 round. Orlando Salido, he beat Lomachenko in Lomachenko's second fight. Experience matters, but if they don't care and they think they ready, they think they the next Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, go for it. Who knows? Maybe they could be the next Ali or Floyd Mayweather. They think they got the secret sauce. Anthony already wants to fight Kovalev and haven't fought anybody yet. Go for it. It's your career. I ain't gonna stand in the way. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, you and your team think you got the secret sauce. You think you good. Beat a bunch of people that were already stocked before you. Go for it. So yeah, and Lopez is nice. I ain't gonna lie. Kid is impressive. He got power, athleticism. He got confidence, real confidence. He can fight. He can box. Physically, dude, I think he's got the sauce. So, we'll see what happens. Um, but a lot of options are starting to go around those 135, 130 division. Things heating up here on Fight Week. Drop a comment, like, subscribe. Take it easy.